So, I don't know how to feel right now. Um, what am I to believe? You know, one minute he says, like, he boasted and was happy about not working this week. So I brought up, I told him I had some stuff to do tomorrow. And the fact that it was going to be cold, I'm like, well, you can take me and get my prescription and stuff. So he said, cool, like he agreed. I wasn't feeling too happy or anything because, like I said, a lot has been going on and I feel like it's affecting the way I see things now. So it's just like I feel like us not really spending that much time together would help the situation. Just so that I don't do nothing I don't want to do or say something I don't want to say or, you know. But then I called him back and I apologized for how I was acting. All of a sudden, he has to work. I'm like, you just told me you don't have to work this week. He was like, no, I don't have to work overtime, but I still have to work. That's not what he said. So something is telling me that I expected this because it's just like the way that I was acting, maybe he's basically like reneging, like, okay, since you want to act this way, I'm not taking you nowhere type of thing. That was number one of the reason why I'm about to pull out completely. Number two is that, I heard him say that he wasn't getting kids no more, but I would rather him get the kids, because before all of this, she was getting the kids, so why is it making any difference now? Why are you changing your mind about everything? Why can't they spend time with you the way they was? What? Because you can come over here and spend time with him now? But if you're coming over here spending time with him, you're going over there and spending time with them. So that's a red flag for me. So it's just like, I can't. I just can't. Now you're trying to pull on them strings. Now you're trying to pull on my mind, and I can't do that. I can't put myself through this. I'm already going through enough, and you're not making it easier for me. This is what I hate about men. They just don't stop being selfish, stop being arrogant, stop thinking about themselves. My son was so happy going with him every other weekend. It was only every other weekend. It wasn't like it was every weekend. I mean, you got 14 days to yourself and you can't spare one that you were giving to them. Now that you're in a relationship, this is stopping you. I liked you better then, and I knew this was going to happen. That's why but I couldn't help myself because I felt the way that I felt about him. But it's just like, when you switch stuff up, it affects that for me. Because now it's just like, why? Why do you change up? My son is my heart. You have my heart. But then when you turn away from him, you turn away from me. You turn away from my heart. Before, it wasn't a big deal, but now it's a big deal. Why? You know, I'm not in a position to sit here and question or to keep questioning. I'm not in position to be hurt and to be wondering. Or to be feeling any kind of way about what has nothing to do with me. Me and my brother was talking, and he said, you know, the past, I can't hold on to the past, but I'm traumatized by my past. You know, the nights when he left me and went over her house and said exactly where he was going and left me wondering over there. My heart was torn. I was broken hearted. I didn't want to wonder about him. I didn't want to wonder about them. The fact that you put me in that position hurt me. And you didn't care. You just sat over there saying you were still with me, but you're over there with her. And now you acting like it's okay to do it all over again. It's fine. I can come over here with him. I mean, you won't be over there with her too, because you're not getting them, but you're still going to see your kids. I don't want to let go, but I am going to have to. I'm going to have to. It was good while it lasted. It seemed cool, you know, but a man will be a man, and they will always try to have control of the situation. Always gonna have, you know, one way or another, because that's what they do. So him taking control of the situation is one. Oh yeah, I'm working after you just said you're not working. Two, me being over here with my kid and then being over there and spending time with his other kids, you know, so he can take a toll on my mind. Or have a toll on my mind. And play this game that men play when they like to string the woman around. To have their way. And I can't put myself through that. So I have to call it quits. You know? It ain't like he'll care anyway. Wow. I really thought I was far ahead. I thought I was like over this. But you never know what you're over until you're back in it again. You know? I am so angry inside. I am so angry at him. So angry. He's gonna go on, you know, when he start playing father again. I just know now, you know, don't fall into it. always the one that actually truly cares is the one that always wind up hurt. Man, stringing your heart along. They don't fucking care. At the end of the day, they don't fucking care. And all you hope for is for them to care. You know? I'm done. You know, I'm just done. And I'm not gonna put myself through what he put me through again. I'm not going to let him do that again. I don't deserve that. And if he cared about me the way he did, then he would know that it's not okay. But like he said again, my brother said again, you know, it's too good to be true. You know, I never really believed that. You know, if it's too good to be true, but it's happening, then why not pursue it? But that's the thing, it was too good to be true. Until you opened your arms and accepted the truth. Then it wasn't good. Like knowing you already know how it's going to play out. He say he changed. But I don't just say something. You know, I don't just say something. But why would I expect the same from him? If I don't say something but I don't know. He say he changed, but I know I felt like I did too until I was back in the same situation. You know, no matter how far I've come, it just, what does it matter if I allow this situation to get the best of me? So I don't. And I'm going to step away. And I'm going to tell him I can't do it. You know, it's time to break up. Because if he don't see he's doing nothing wrong, then obviously he's not in his eyes. But I'm not going to keep being left in the dark, you know, with everything. And it's not the secretive part of him that's killing me. It's the fact that you keep switching up, you know. And my friend was just telling me, you know, I'm too inconsistent. He kept telling me I'm too inconsistent. But I'm inconsistent because of my kids, you know. He's inconsistent because of his job. He's too, I don't know, it's just like, it's not even his job. It's like once he with me, it's like he feel okay to let everything slide. But then at the same time, you do this because you care. Oh, I'm gonna be here, you know, so I can be here, I can come visit him. But then again, You don't care when you go over there and you putting me in a position to wonder because you think that you can just go over her house and spend time with your kids and think it's not a problem. Why do you think that? And why do you do that? And why do you put me in this position? And that's why I say it's not gonna matter anyway when I break up with him, because you doing this is just showing me that you don't want to be here. So I'm letting you go. I'm gonna let you be free. You know, this is what you want, obviously. You want this. You want me to break up with you because what you're doing, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like you want to stay. So I have to let you go because that's what you're giving me. You know, that's what you're giving. So, yeah. I'm afraid though because I really care about him, you know, but that's what men do. They hurt you, you know, and you don't know why. You don't know why. I was just watching this, video. This story line about this woman who, you know, she wasn't pretty or anything, but she had a blessing. And the blessing was from the gods and her ancestors that if a man married her, he would attain wealth. So that's what happened. You know, eventually she did marry, but this man didn't see her for her wealth. He seen her for love, and he was in love with her. So, and that was the only time she married because she was waiting for love, you know. And she received that love, but one day he disappeared. So then all these men start lining up because they seen this man. He became wealthy with her, and he was like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna go marry her for, you know, fortune and this and that, you know, and then I'm gonna leave her and go be with somebody, but I still got my fortune because, you know, basically she gave him the means to contribute to his life. All of these men came and used her. You know, they used her, took the fortune that she, you know, that was in her bloodline, or from her ancestors and from her gods. They used that, and then once they became fortunate, they went and they either married a woman or they, you know, pursued a career or did whatever they wanted to do. So she just let him come and go. Like, she married him, she let him go. She married him, she let him go because her husband was gone. And she didn't know what happened to him, and time just passed by and passed by. And so eventually she met a woman in the woods, and this woman told her to put on these underwear. Don't ever take off these underwear. And then the next morning she became beautiful. Man lined up again. Not for her fortune, but for her beauty this time. She married this guy, and he wound up doing the same thing. You know, he was with her, but he started to become unfortunate because it was a curse. You know, the beauty was a curse. So he became unfortunate, and he wound up leaving and disappearing. So that's when I questioned. I'm like, wow. He left and disappeared when she was beautiful, but he was unfortunate because he was not prideful. His confidence was stripped of him because he lost everything. So he left for that reason. Her beauty didn't mean a thing, obviously. The fact that she wasn't bringing fortune So obviously you was rich and stuff. You didn't need her for a fortune. But once you lost your fortune, you left. The man that that was unfortunate and gained fortune, they left. So it's just like I was like, what? What's the reason? What is it that these men want? Because if they not prideful or confident in themselves while being with you, they rather lose and choose themselves. You have me, but because you don't have fortune, you walk away. That's him choosing himself. You have me and you have fortune and you still walk away because you're choosing yourself. But that one guy, he did eventually return. He returned and they got married. Well, they was already married, but they got remarried because I guess somebody stole him. They kidnapped him, and because they was jealous of him. And they kidnapped him, tied him up, and then came back for his wife. And that guy did wind up marrying her. He was one of the men that had lined up to marry her. And eventually went away with another woman and was fortunate. So, eventually he got away. Some people found him. They cut him loose, helped him. But, he had to get better before he returned. So it wouldn't happen again. So he came back. And she was this beautiful woman and stuff, but she didn't want to curse him. She didn't want him to lose everything that he had. Because of the panties that she was wearing and the beauty that she attained. The question is, would she have cursed him though if it was true love? But I would have been uncomfortable because I can't just sit there and wear the same panties for years and years and years. Maybe that's just, that's our conditioned mindset. And these days, like, we can't just keep wearing the same panties over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, that's just not logical. That's not rational. And it makes it seem uncomfortable. We can't even, tap into our, maybe this was like our ancestral energy and the spiritual, things that we have to do to actually live the way that we're supposed to. Like, maybe we're supposed to live this way. When we receive gifts, we have to do what we need to do with these gifts, but we can't live that way because it's mischievous in the world's eyes. And if you go a certain amount of days without bathing, you're nasty, nobody gonna come near you, you're dirty, this, that, and the third, so we can't really live that lifestyle. And I was just thinking about that in the back of my mind. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm sorry, ancestor, or I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't wear those panties. Like, do you have something else for me? Maybe a bracelet or something. But then again, it's not guaranteed that I'll wear that, so yeah. But yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, since it's true love, you could have kept the panties on and still been that woman, because now she probably felt, well, I don't know if she would feel a certain way, because now I've been transformed to some, I've been transformed to be appealing to the eyes, and it's going to feel different going back to that lifestyle that I feel like I transformed from. you know. But then if you have your true love with you, it doesn't matter. So I know where she came from, but it's just like I have that question, like, will he actually become unfortunate and stuff if there is love, you know? So I feel like maybe it still could have, she still could have been, you know, that new version of herself because it was already love there. You know, you can't curse love. You can't curse, you know, that it was true, what's real. But she went back to herself because, you know, he fell in love with this person. He fell in love with me for me, and she didn't see no wrong in going back to who I am. I originally was, because she knew that he wasn't going to switch up on her like everybody else because it was true from the jump. So she went and took the panties back, and she went back to her original self. But it just, I guess the lesson was that beauty, regardless of what beauty is, man is going to be man regardless. If they want you for a certain reason, that's all it's going to be about. You know, if it's true love, there's only that one person that's going to give you that true love and be truly about you. You know, and all these other men is just those men, you know, and I'm just like, wow. That's evil. You know, it's so angry. It's so mean. And, you know, and we are the ones that go through it by the end of the day. We're the ones that, you know, lose so much of ourselves hoping that this is worth it. We put so much, give so much, and then it always comes down to a choice, you know, and it shouldn't have to come down to a choice. But when it does, unfortunately, I have to make a choice. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I'll talk to y'all next time. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share your own free will, show you care.